All right. Let's just jump right into it. So last week we watched it as like a group in the Hunter Discord. It was pretty fun. The movie itself was not that fun, but I feel like the group watch was fun.
Yeah, it was worth it in that way.
Any starting thoughts?
Sorry?
I just said any like starting thoughts, like any major things anyone wanted to start with?
It well, the movie is what it is, right? It's lacking.
It is definitely a movie.
I mean, yeah,
has the runtime of a
it's
movie.
barely enough. Like it's like just enough to be considered a movie. It has the plot and like the character designs and the characters, they have the motivations and stuff, but it's just not a Hunter x Hunter movie. Like, I don't feel
it's not Togashi.
It wasn't written by Togashi, but I think you had a good point. I remember when you were watching, you said that the writers probably didn't have enough time to write this or something like that.
It felt really bare minimum.
Yeah, I think it's very possible it was something like that because just there isn't that much depth to the characters,
or their abilities,
and just like I don't understand why they had to make this on thing. Like they could have just could have gone with Nen and made the same sort of restrictions if they wanted.
So part of my theory as to like thinking they didn't have enough time to write this script, or they didn't have like appropriate time for a Hunter movie script, was that they chose to add on. They chose to like simplify the system that like the new characters would be using, so that they wouldn't have to like understand the base material like super in depth to really write the movie. Because that's basically what it is. It's like a simplified version of Nen. Just like simple evil Nen, basically.
According to the So what it is that, as you guys know, in Nen, there's 6 different types. There's enhancement, transmutation, emission, conjuration, manipulation, and specialization. What Alm basically is it's evil, cursed, the dark side of Nen, you may say. It doesn't really have those categories. I mean,
they say that it's from grudge.
You can just use whatever you want. I mean, you could be a manipulator.
Yeah, they say it's like energy from a grudge or something like that. But it's like negative gifted energy to you by this this kind of antichrist character,
the best antagonist of all time. The best antagonist of all time.
With the most normal name ever, Jed.
We love Jed. Who here stands
Okay,
Jed?
he's pretty hot. Like, the character design is on point, but that's about it. He's super boring. But like, something interesting and funny that I wanted to point out was the whole the symbolism with like, if you look at the front cover of the movie, you have Netero like up in like the crucified position, like crucified on a cross.
Oh my god, I see. Yeah, I'm actually looking at that right now. Oh my god, I didn't actually realize that.
It's like that.
Isn't that Kurapika flipping?
Yeah, it totally looks like that, right? But like the implication that Netero is like the Christ in this plot, and then that would make Jed the Antichrist. That's why I said the Antichrist before. It feels like some kind of symbolism that you're supposed to read into, but like I'm not getting anything out of it. Like it's like meaningless symbolism.
Right.
Yeah, or maybe they just put him there in that position without really thinking about it. I mean,
So I actually have an idea. So this is not a series, right? I mean, we're not going to get Hunter x Hunter: The Last Mission, the series. It's a movie. It's a 1 hour and 40-minute approximate experience, right? So basically, you would have to condense the entire OWN system and its few followers as compactly as possible. So there's with the amount of time there's no really room to actually expand on that, right? So with, let's say, with Nen or with any of the characters in the regular Hunter x Hunter series, in the manga at least, or the anime, you have so much time. You have arcs upon arcs, and you have upon hours and hours of watch time to expand on a character's motivations, ideas, personality, and the Nen system overall. With The Last Mission, what it was is that you basically had to introduce this whole thing, which apparently was like the other side of the Hunter Association, explain how they were genocided, and then what you have to explain, oh yeah, there's a few followers of it left, and then you basically have to say, oh yeah, just at the end of the movie, and within a couple of hours of the terrorist attack, you basically have to say, oh yeah, they're dead now. So with that, there's no room to really explain anything. I mean, there's 4 people that follow on like that are actually in the main plot, right? It's Jed followed by, let me just look up the characters. Shira, Rengoku.
Yeah,
Rengoku.
Rengoku.
How the hell do you pronounce that? All right, my apologies. And Gaki. So there's only 4 characters.
I mean,
right, and then they have to die by the end of the movie.
I understand why they have to go,
and there has to be
why they have to make a system like that, because it's a movie, right? They have to like wrap it up. They have to put the promise of the movie in the beginning, and then they have to wrap it up in one movie, because the movie is going to be over, and you can't just leave people hanging either, because it's a one shot.
I think the thing about this movie is it feels like a movie about Hunter x Hunter, and the target audience is everybody but Hunter x Hunter fans. It feels like a movie where they try to make it accessible to general audiences by, dumbing down Nen, using like on as like a very simplified system, like, you just get like evil energy. You have a grudge and it gives you like superpowers.
Yeah.
That's basically like the extent of the explanation, as far as I understand, or like as far as I was paying attention.
Right. You don't really need
to understand, because I was falling asleep throughout that entire movie. I was struggling to stay awake. But yeah.
Koga isn't actually lying. Like, he was legitimately falling asleep.
Yeah, towards the end of the movie, I was dying.
So do you think...
Yeah.
So do you think, was it like a conscious choice they made when they were making the movie that...
Yes.
To market it to non-Hunter fans?
Yeah.
Hard to say.
Let's see. So
it kind of just
ended
up that
but
way.
However, in the Western world, let's just say the United States, I mean, I don't think Hunter x Hunter is like in the top 10 most popular shonen series. Like, nowhere
might be
near.
Getting there, but
so, I mean,
maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised if it is, because it's an amazing series. Don't get me wrong. However, especially in 2013, I mean, that's back when Togashi was still running chapters. Think about that. Togashi was not on his legendary hiatus.
You say that like it's never going to happen again, which is really depressing.
Yeah, Hunter x Hunter is pretty...
At that time, Hunter x Hunter was a lot smaller back then. At least in the Western world. I don't know what it was like in Japan.
It seems that TikTok is blowing it up.
I'm
just going to put that there.
Oh my god, yeah. Let's not get into the Hunter x Hunter TikTok. I showed Gil a compilation. I've already almost died several times. I've had some heart palpitations, and again, I've gone.
Okay, maybe an unpopular opinion, but I would rather watch an hour and a half of Hunter x Hunter TikToks than watch this movie.
Ooh.
Because this movie was so painfully average that there was no like even comedic value in making fun of it. Like there wasn't anything to point out and go, that sucks. Like at least with Hunter TikTok, you can like find these really crappy and cringy videos, and you can like feel that secondhand embarrassment or like laugh at it, or some of them are genuinely funny, and like the fans understand the material and are able to make something funny out of it. Like this was just so painfully average that it just didn't provide any value at all.
It's true.
At all. Not even like making fun of it.
I agree.
Anyway,
I agree 100%. I mean, with Hunter x Hunter TikToks, I mean, a lot of them are cringy. A lot of them are, especially as a big fan, it's like seeing like the quote unquote normies, how they view it or whatever. It can be seen as mega cringe. However, all right, at least it gives, as you have said, at least it gives me something to do, at least something to enjoy, regardless if, let's say, I mean, on Hunter x Hunter TikTok, there's like something like, oh yeah, like this person actually played part of a Hunter x Hunter song, let's say, on the piano.
Yeah, dope.
Cool, right? That provides value. However, and then on the other side, there's like the shitty, the weird
Hisoka stance.
Like, oh yeah, Hisoka, love me, ooh. No, I mean that's the other side of it. All right, at least with one of them, I say, oh yeah, that's cool. The second one, I say, hey, that's pretty fucking weird of you. You're still like 14. You're saying Hisoka, ooh.
Yeah, that's cringe. Really creepy.
But with the last mission, I mean, it's like what you said. I mean, it's not Hunter x Hunter. It's basically any other shonen series that I've ever seen. See, the last mission reminded me of the reason why I don't really like any other anime. It's boring. All right, I'll just use with like what you're saying about On. I mean, the power system. How basically, oh yeah, there's no real anything special about it. It's just, oh yeah, you have this power and you can manipulate it to your will. I mean, the only other anime that I've actually finished is the Seven Deadly Sins. I know a lot of people dislike it.
Cringe.
Whatever, right? In that series, it's basically, oh yeah, power system. With the power system, I mean, it's like, oh yeah, this person has like 50,000 power level. It's like, what the fuck does that mean? I mean, does that mean like, are they powerful? Or are they, is that like how much aura is like that? How much aura? But with Hunter x Hunter and Nen, it's like, okay, this person's S. This person's an enhancer. This means this person can, let's say, buff their attack and defense strength. Conjuration. Oh, you can just conjure, something that you specialize in. Or like with Kurapika, his chains, all right? With a mission, you can just basically shoot air at someone.
It engages you, yeah.
But with other... Yeah, exactly. But with other power systems, and with On in the last mission, it's generic, uncreative nothing.
Yeah. I
mean, it's like in one of the major fights in the movie, Gon and Killua were facing against an all-user named Gaki. Killua first guessed that he was an emitter because, oh yeah, he could just shoot, like aura-based, things at them, which is an emission technique. But then he can use like a transmutation technique, and then he can block a Jajunkin through his enhancement techniques. It's like, it's not how it works. It's like,
yeah, it's mega cringe.
I'm having a mental breakdown here. Please. Yeah, it's pretty cringe, all right? On a scale of cringe,
was there anything that you legitimately enjoyed about this movie?
Dead silence.
Silence.
Give me a moment here. All right, I think I can.
That's probably like the best answer. Just like silence.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well,
so,
there was that.
Kurapika green tie. Let's go. We found it. All right. Actually, no. Kurapika and a black tie is better. Why the fuck did I?
Oh, that one scene where Hisoka grabs Leorio with his bungee gum and then jumps up, and then Leorio makes that funny sound. The funny sound is like the only good scene. Yeah, he's like, whoop!
Oh yeah. So what it was is that was basically something that was seen with Gon and Hisoka in their fight in Heaven's Arena, where basically Hisoka used bungee gum and stuck it to Gon and then sent a rock flying his way. Basically, it's where Hisoka basically just dragged people along with his bungee gum. So it technically expanded on that idea. Like, he can basically pull people up.
Oh
like
yeah,
that
like
because he's so strong.
what would you call it? Like a pulley system?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Does
was
that-
a pulley system. You
Does
saw
that
it with, like,
imply
the
that like he
things
can
on-
make part of his gum stickier than other parts? Like the part where
Yeah.
Yes.
he was using it to drag
No.
on the pole, like to pull Leorio up and down, like that part would be less sticky than the part that is holding Leorio.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, he can definitely manipulate that.
he
At least I would assume.
in the Goto fight, he was like spinning around the forest, right? Or like flying around the forest.
Oh my gosh.
So
That 3-minute fight is like 10 times more valuable than this entire movie.
yeah.
All right. Can I also just mention another thing in terms of the last mission fights, right? At the end of the movie, Netero is released from his grudge, apparently from one of the own users, and basically he brings up the 100 type Guanven Bodhisattva. In this movie, though, it feels like nothing. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll give you some different. I'll give you an example. Right, in the Marium versus Netero fight, a legendary fight, when he pulled out the 100 type Guanven Bodhisattva, you're like, wow,
Yeah,
this is
beautiful reveal.
fucking incredible. Like, that is powerful, right? But in this fight, it's where, especially, that's another thing with it. Like, the color palette seemed weird in the last mission. I mean, it seemed like a bit more dreary, in my opinion. Like, the gold on the 100 type Guanven Bodhisattva seemed a bit darker. It didn't seem that impressive. It's like, maybe it's because of the Jed's like 100 type grudges of demons, or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah.
But what it was is that I don't even know at this point. It's
Stakes
so
for
forgettable,
Netero
right?
were pretty low, actually. Like,
Yeah, he was just chilling.
yeah, exactly. Versus the Merum fight,
Yeah,
where he was
he's
like, okay,
unaffected by-
well, let's have a good last fight, and see what humanity can achieve or whatever. Or like, but here with Jed, he's like, oh man, well, I gotta deal with you now.
I'm sorry, old friend.
Kind of, right? But yeah, I think that's why
He was just basically like, Jed, this is cringe. And that's like the entire
Yeah.
thing.
Why haven't you gotten to Nirvana yet?
Yeah.
Goga, can I just say that it's fucking funny how you're describing everything as cringe?
Another part
It
that
was
I
pretty
liked.
cringy.
Yeah. Hey man, alright, that fight with a 100 type Guanven Bodhisattva, that's kind of cringe.
Oh, yeah. Not to mention that this movie implies that Gon, at one point, it was stronger than Netero's Buddha Vista. I'm too dumb to remember how to pronounce it. But like when he
Bodhisattva.
overcomes on, or like whatever the fuck happens, like I was really confused at like what happened. Like Killua was like, friendship, and then his on turned like gold, and then like he was able to like control it, and then Gon's Jajanken,
The power of
his
friendship.
power of friendship was stronger than Netero's attack against Jed, because it was able to defeat Jed. And so you're telling me that this like one little on power up that Gon has is stronger than like a guy that's trained like his entire life and like went through a complete personality transformation, like putting himself through hell, like basically just like a full metamorphosis just in the wilderness, training his martial arts, like lifetimes of experience and training. And then, this little kid is like, friendship. It's just like as a fan, you see that and it's like, oh my gosh, this is just like,
That's
kind of cringe. Like yeah, it was just so unengaging. Like you felt like the writers just didn't like understand the material that they were working with. It was just, not good.
Also, let us not forget that when Gon injected himself with like Jed's blood, right, to form a covenant with On, doesn't that remind you of his fight with Pito in any sense? I mean, it's like, I'm going to do everything I can to protect my friends. Or in that case, I mean, it's like, with Pito, it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to use everything to avenge Kite. But in this one, it's like, I'm going to use everything to save Killua, Leorio, Netero,
They
and
tried to take
Kurapika.
parts that worked very well in the manga and tried to put it in the movie, but yeah,
it did not hit. I was like, when I saw that,
because there's not the build up.
Yeah,
there's no the inner conflicts don't really make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if it'd be valuable to kind of like break that down in detail. Like, okay, what are the differences between the last mission and where that failed versus Gon's transformation in the manga and where that succeeded? Like, what were the elements of failure and what were the elements of success? Like, I feel like as writers, that would be really important to know.
With Gon's transformation in the manga and anime, it was drawn out over a long time, where Kite was killed by Pito, but his transformation took time. It took resentment, anger, hatred, and just overall remorse and sadness. But in this one, it's like Gon knew, alright, Kurapika was shot with the syringe basically right after the fight, right? They just met up, alright? So he barely had any time to register that. Killua was not in any true danger until the actual fight for a little bit. Netero he was concerned about, but he still realized that Killua was able to remove Netero's curse.
Yeah, and even then,
I mean, so there was really no time to actually for him to truly process it and to actually have like that exact kind of emotional
exploration.
Outburst.
Yeah, there was no like.
Yeah, that was like in the Pito fight. All right, with the Pito fight, it makes sense. All right, in this one, I can see it working somewhat with like, oh yeah, Gon will do anything for his friend. Like he will go to any extreme. However, in this movie, it just seems a bit off, considering that it's a fight. I mean, it's Netero's old friend, like his longtime rival. Yet Gon was just able to like, haha, you threatened my friends, I'm just gonna go full on Super Saiyan Goku mode, punch you once in the stomach, say I forgive you for all your heinous crimes, and then just he disappears into dust.
Yeah, maybe Gon didn't have like enough emotional stake in the plot for like
he didn't.
Us as viewers to connect.
I mean, Gon only ever interacted with Jed right as the fight began. I mean, Gon fight Gaki, but then he realized how Gaki basically turned into a suicide bomber when he failed to defeat the Gon and Killua. So I mean, it's like, okay, but why did you do that as friends, right? As the viewers, Jed is seen as like kind of like a religious icon in terms of like he's like the Lord and Savior in that. I mean, that's how I would describe it. I mean, like he's like the most powerful user. He can be called upon from like his death place or like his resting place or whatever. But
yeah, even Jed.
Even with that, it's weird.
Yeah, like what is his backstory even? Like
Jed was basically what we were given is that when Netero and Jed were friends, they were deciding like who would run the association. They actually did a coin toss to decide who's the quote-unquote heads of the association, who's the quote-unquote tails. The heads being like the chairman, and the tails being the leader of the shadow, which basically is like the group that used on
I already forgot
basically
that.
like the dark, bloody murder.
Basically, like who's gonna front the association and be like the public presence, and then who's gonna like actually do all like
the dirty work.
Yeah, the dirty work.
The extremely dirty work
implies a lot about the Hunter Association. Like it turns the Hunter Association from kind of like this true neutral force. It's kind of hard to describe. Maybe chaotic neutral, to more of like an evil force. Like if this movie's like admitting to like, okay, the Hunter Association has like dark motivations and they use this squad to fulfill those motivations, then like it's making like a huge change to the current way we understand the association, which is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's said that, I mean, with the people that like the shadows, right? They apparently lived in a certain region, right? And the government, right, of that place basically framed them of staging a coup and basically hired hunters to essentially genocide them.
Rolled.
All right, I mean, it's like, so basically that gives us the impression of, oh yeah, hunters are just bounty hunters and mercenaries who basically do what's best for their wallet, right?
Which is kind of true.
So I mean, it's true, but don't.
The Hunter Association, this shadow team is also part of the Hunter Association, which is strange.
It was.
Did Netero have like some kind of reason why he wanted to eliminate this shadow squad?
Yes. So what it was is that Netero saw the shadow as being too merciless. Like they were too destructive. So he went and then basically killed the top on users with like Jed, and then the their civilian, like their families in the region where
so
they were killed sent to a concentration camp.
That kind of goes against Netero's like original vision, I would say. Even like he
ideology.
Yeah, because
it feels a
he
bit out
would
of
let
place,
evil people as well as like goody people or neutral people into the association. It's not at all what it's like what we see in the Hunter exam, that there's like evil people, neutral, all from all like alignments joining, and he's completely fine with that.
To give some context.
Oh,
to give some context,
guys, just hold on real quick. Remember the iceberg image, and it had like Netero fascist alignments? Is that originates from?
I don't know.
Bruh.
I was thinking like regarding how Netero ran the association. In the same Hunter exam, Gon and Leorio, who are seen as benevolent people, passed the test with Illumi and Hisoka.
Yeah.
Just to give some more differentiation, you could say.
Yeah, it's an interesting like question. Okay, what is like the morality of Netero? Like, how does he operate? Does he like?
He tends to be a Darwinist.
He's like he runs the Hunter Association as like a very like. He doesn't like take responsibility for much of what the members do. Like there's what would you call it, like a litmus test for like ability to become a hunter, and then like he kind of it's like a Darwinist thing. Like he lets the system of law and like other hunters dictate what happens internally in the association. Like, okay, we think this person is bad, and then they use the law or whatever to out that person, and he kind of just steps away and lets the system kind of work itself. It seems like that. So I guess I'm becoming more and more convinced that he's more of like a Darwinist. And then there's
Wasn't
the
he
Chimera
the one
Ant
that made
question.
the bylaws?
His
The Hunter Association bylaws.
The bylaws.
Um,
Yeah, let's just look that up real quick.
I think it was like the chairman of the association that did the bylaws and chose a vice chairman. I'm not exactly sure if it was exactly that, but
All right. So let's see. The Hunter Association Hunter bylaws. Number 1, hunters must always be on the hunt for something. Number 2, hunters must have a minimal understanding of martial arts. This includes learning Nin. Number 3, once a hunter is licensed, that license cannot be revoked for any reason. However, a license will not be reissued for any reason. 4, hunters shall not target other hunters unless they commit heinous crimes. So, I mean, Jed said, oh yeah, you were never supposed to be able to kill another hunter, but it says in these bylaws you can if they commit, evil enough acts, which the Shadow did, apparently. Number 5, 1 star is given to a hunter who produces remarkable achievements in a particular field. Number 6, 2 stars are given to a hunter who fulfills the 5 articles, holds an official position, and has mentored a junior hunter who is awarded a star. Number 7, 3 stars are given to a hunter who fulfills the 6 articles and produces remarkable achievements in multiple fields. Number 8, the chief executive of the Hunter Association must earn the confidence of a majority of his colleagues. When the position of chairman is vacated, the vote is to elect the next chairman must be conducted at once, and deputy power is given to the vice chairman in the meantime. Number 9, the authority to decide on a method to select new members is given to the chairman. However, to significantly change the existing methods requires the confidence of a majority of colleagues. And 10, any matter not mentioned here will be decided in a cabinet consisting of the chairman, vice chairman, and staff advisors. The chairman has the authority to select the vice chairman and the staff. So it says here in 9 that based on the chairman's ideas, they can change the recruitment methods.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there you go. I mean, the Hunter exam was probably conceived by Netro. It was conceived by Netro. And then how it changes every year, and the examiners are changed every year. That's how Netro sees it.
They changed the system to fit the needs that they think, or like the current chairman changes the system to fit the current association's needs, in their opinion. So Cheadle, for example, changed the Hunter exam completely because she thought that, because they needed all the extra hunters and they wanted to screen all of the applicants, so they changed it quite a lot. But Nether was more about just having fun, I guess, and making it tough. Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, go ahead.
Pretty Darwinist. I don't know if there's like a better way of describing it other than Darwinist.
Oh yeah, Neteros.
But yeah, interesting. So wait. Oh my gosh, this whole dark side of the Hunter Association is so cringe then. What does that entail? Like when you decide I will be the head of the association and you will be like the underbelly of the association. What did they mean by this? Like it kind of like implies, okay, you will do like things that are heinous in order to like reach the goals of the association, and I will just be like the head of it. Like, does that it imply that, or like?
Let's not poke too many holes, otherwise we will just fall into a pit of insanity. No, I'm joking. Let's go into that insanity. Yeah, I can see that definitely holding truth. No,
It implies.
maybe it's that Netero changed the rules after the Shadow, because the Shadow was killed off a couple dozen years ago. So that's how they said it. They didn't say, oh yeah, like 70 years ago or 50 years ago. No, they said a couple dozen years ago. What does that mean? I mean, what does that mean? Do you guys know what that means? A couple dozen years ago? So if a dozen's 12 and a couple is like
2 to
range you
3.
from like 3 to
And
6?
wait, 3 to 6? Is it?
Like, really? I usually use the word like couple between like 2 and 6.
Well, you would describe a
Let me look up
couple
the official.
as like, if you're describing like a couple as in like two people together in a relationship. That's like 2.
Yeah, that's 2. No, I'm saying like a couple. I'm saying like no, I mean like a couple, like numerical wise. Like,
I know.
if there's like 5, if there's like 5 pieces of, 5 pieces of whatever, right? Oh yeah, there's a couple of them.
It's usually
I don't
referred
know.
to as
Maybe it's
2.
just an American thing.
I'm looking at like multiple definitions. Although it's like in terms of just like general English language use, it can be used to describe something more than 2. Like, oh yeah, like I had a couple cups of coffee and now I can't sleep. Like, it doesn't exactly imply a number. It just implies a number beyond like 1. So I don't know. I'd still say like 2 to 3.
Okay then. Well, fine. There's a considerable amount of them, or something like that. I don't know. But I kind of lost track of what we were talking about because of the word couple.
We're basically like, how long ago
okay.
did they form
Oh, yeah,
I keep forgetting what this group is called, the Shadow Group, Omega Lol.
The Shadow.
Oh,
the
it's
Shadow.
so generic.
So the Shadow. So the Shadow was, when the Shadow was created, is never known. They were killed a couple dozen years ago. I'm not going to say how long that was ago, but that's more than 12. So I'm saying, let's just say about 25 years ago.
And the Shadow were like, this is another thing that's kind of a parallel to what's already in the manga. The Shadow were like a group of people that lived in a community, kind of like the Kurta, like a clan of people. And the main members of the Shadow in the movie, the living members that followed Jed, were like survivors of the would you call it a massacre? The genocide? I don't know.
I would say massacre, genocide, because the ones that weren't killed were put into concentration camp, like a concentration camp / prison, a labor camp, you could say.
Yeah. But yeah, these kids were like survivors of that. But yeah, another interesting parallel there.
Except the problem with it is that, I mean, the Kurta, from what we know, never truly bothered anyone. They just had the Scarlet Eyes. The Scarlet Eyes are considered one of the most valuable jewels in the world, one of the most beautiful colors, and so they were persecuted for that. While on the other hand, the Shadow and its civilians, you could say, because of the heinous acts of its leaders, maybe you shouldn't have killed all of the civilians and throw them into jail, or like into a prison. However, they were known for committing probably most likely crimes against humanity, if we're going to be honest here. If Netero himself is deeming it worthy of killing you because of how evil your actions were, they must be some kind of crime against humanity or crime against nature.
Yeah.
That can be assumed.
It just seems so non-fitting to have it as like a community of people. Like, you assume it's just like an organization within the Hunter Association of just like specialists.
Yeah, like a subgroup.
But it's like a community. Like, it just doesn't make much sense to me.
Yeah, like, why are there civilians? Like, I mean, when like the civilian, when like let's say, okay, Koga, let's say you were one of the shadow, right? You can use on and shit. All right, do you feel special now?
I'm evil.
Right. So what it is that what it doesn't make sense, right? If you, let's say Koga, you were a shadow, and you committed some crimes against humanity, some good war crimes, you could say.
Steal some
But the thing
Pokemon
with this is that
cards.
why would your association to the shadow dictate the lives or like the living situation of your parents, your siblings, and your extended
It would
family?
imply that everybody
Like, why are they-
committed some.
Comes from
Yeah,
the same group.
it would imply that like everybody committed like the same level of crime, or like were like involved with it
Yeah.
and condoned it.
It also could be like all members of the shadow come from the same place. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, the members of the shadow can only be from this one
So
village.
maybe we're just missing a detail here, but this is like insane.
Seems like a
Yeah,
major
like
plot hole.
it would imply that Netero like was completely okay with this and knew this was happening to the community of people that weren't necessarily involved with the leader. With Jed. Jed was the leader, right? He was the one committing the crime, and so he and his followers were punished. But then the rest of the community of the Shadow were
No, so it wasn't the Hunter Association that did that. It was the government of that region that paid the hunters to detain them and to kill them. It was the government that framed them for staging a coup. The Hunter Association actually had no direct involvement. They were just getting paid for it.
okay. So they. Okay, so it's basically
It still mean
the plot is basically like a government staging this group of people as like perpetrators of a crime that didn't happen, and then it's basically Netero killing these people over a
Even
misunderstanding.
that would be more interesting than what the current thing is.
No.
Am I?
No, wait a minute.
What am I
Wait a
misunderstanding
minute.
here?
Wait a minute.
That's
wait a minute,
he
wait a
kills the
minute.
people, right?
So I just realized something. I'm so stupid. Jed is not one of those people from the village. The three people that called Jed, like that
Yeah.
summoned him, are.
Yep.
So what is this, right? Jed died, let's say, 25 years ago from Netero. He's been dead for that long. In modern day, the village was framed in for staging a coup against the government of that region. So they hired hunters to detain them and to imprison them.
Okay.
Right? However, the three survivors, now powered with On, went to the prison and rescued them.
Okay.
So what it was is that Jed was actually never part of that group. It was the three survivors like Gaki, Shura, and Renguk. I can't pronounce the name, I'm
Rengoku.
sorry. Ren. I'll just call them. Yeah, I'll just call her Ren. All right. It was those three, and then what it is that Jed was never a part of that group. Just
Okay,
the
this
survivors
becomes
power.
even weirder.
I'm still confused. It's like
So what it was is that Netero had no involvement with the village. It was just hunters that were being paid by the government.
but Netero still killed Jed and
the shadow.
yeah. So what?
Yeah.
What?
No, So no. Okay, the group in the village,
Yes.
like this village, has no correlation to the shadow. Apparently.
No, they are the
Maybe
Shadow, aren't
maybe
they?
don't. At this point, I don't.
They're a
care.
community that are called the
I
Shadow.
don't think so. Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's
I
look it
don't
up.
know. This is getting really confusing really quickly, man. This is so messy. Yo, Last Mission, we love you. Great
We don't.
movie, alright? Now that we're actually talking about
At least
it,
there
thinking
was
about it,
beans and
something's
goreng.
not right.
True.
Oh, yes,
Rich
of course.
Classy
Goreno.
Gorenu.
Goreno was
Enjoying his
DJ
well-earned
Goreno's
money.
wine. Of course. And then Guys, did you guys see how Kite was alive in the flashback?
Oh
With
my
Killa?
dude, okay.
That
So
was
when
crazy.
Yeah.
That broke the movie.
yeah, when
immediately.
does this movie take place?
Okay, so let's break down the timeline really quickly. No Hunter exam, all right? They didn't know Nen. Heaven's Arena, no. York knew. This is after York knew because the Phantom Rouge took place right after York knew. This took place after Greed Island because both Gon and Killa knew of Bisky, right? So they interacted
And
with
they
her,
knew Nen.
Yep.
did whole Greed Island. They referenced it to they
So,
mentioned Risky
after
Dice,
Greed
for
Island.
example, right? And then what it was is that the movie shows a flashback, not like a current situation, a flashback of Gon and Killa with Kite in a forest.
Yep.
Right now, that's the problem. If this is after Greed Island and before Chimera, that's impossible because as soon as Greed Island was finished, Gon and Killa were teleported to Kite in NGL. So there's no way that unless it's because the forest and NGL there did not match, and there would be no time for them to actually be smiling and laughing and looking at animals, right? And then heading back to the city.
I
The
think
Chimera ants were still there.
I think
Yeah, that was still
weren't
investigating.
they investigating on the Chimera ants for a while with Kite? So I would assume that they were during that time.
So
they
what it was
went,
is that
they just randomly decided to go to Heaven's Arena or whatever.
But the thing with it, it's also, now that we think of it, Zushi was a floor master apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, look at him.
Sushi
He got
floor master.
ripped.
Alright, please. I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah.
Dude, that man was swole. Alright, so that's another thing,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
I think because they were there for maybe couple days, right? At the Heavens Arena, maybe
No,
just one
that was
day.
over the span of 10 hours or so.
10 hours. Oh yeah.
No, actually,
So
yeah, no,
I mean, technically,
yeah,
they could
12 hours.
have visited Heaven's Arena and the continent while Kite was doing the research and stuff. I mean, but yeah, does it make sense?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, but yeah.
I think that's stretching it.
Yeah, so it might be possible, but
Yeah.
the motivation for them to be there is not existent. Why would they be there? Is it close to where the Chimera
not that-
ants
yeah.
are? I don't think so. We were looking at
like a
me and
continent,
Gil
a
were
whole
looking at a
continent
map
away.
for a story we're writing. Yeah, it just doesn't seem like there would be much motivation to be there. I have the paragraph of the plot synopsis here. That
Okay.
explains what we were debating. Netero recognizes the ringleader as a reincarnation of Jed, and it is revealed that Jed was once Netero's friend and the leader of the Shadow, the Hunter Association's Black Ops Squad, that was destroyed by the chairman after they began to make use of On. So Netero decided to destroy them after they started using this On power. Cursed power that is opposite to Nen and is fueled by the user's pure hatred and desire for vengeance. Which is interesting because I feel like you could just power Nen with that as well. Nen after death is based on grudges and stuff like that, so it obviously incorporates emotions and stuff.
It is.
It's just kind of stupid.
And yeah, like you were talking about what is his reason to even if On would be a thing, why would he just decide to kill them off based on making On seeing how he is in the Hunter exam or the Chimera Ant arc? I personally, I don't see Netero just going all his way just to to block the group of people, the shadows, from using on. I don't see him doing that, like personally at least. But
funnily enough, I feel like Netero would be the kind of person to use on himself.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's really weird. So anyway, he decides to kill them for using on for some reason. Jed and his companions' objective is to force the Hunter Association to disclose the Black Report, a record of the crimes against the descendants of the Shadow. Descendants of the Shadow settled peacefully in a village after the organization was destroyed. So the organization that I was confused about, being a village of people, it's just the descendants of the Shadow went off and like created a village. For some reason, they decided to segregate themselves from the rest of humanity. I don't know why. What makes a Shadow person like different from normal people? Jed was just like a normal guy, right? So, dude, I don't get it. So anyway, these people segregate themselves. They don't go and join the rest of the world, like I assume they would, and then they're pinned for the government. Been pinned by the government and imprisoned in the tower for which is what Kurapika mentioned. This sucks. This just like half of this just like doesn't make sense. Like Netero choosing to kill these people because On is like evil or whatever. Like I feel like he would use that power himself. It's like we have him dappling with like the what would you call it? The taboo of going to like the Dark Continent and exploring the Dark Continent. He's the kind of person to do that. He's like he's not like this morally righteous person. This power on, I feel like he would just acknowledge that it's fueled by hatred and desire for vengeance, and then say, okay, this is a power that could be used in like a positive or constructive way, or like in a fun way, like just he would use it himself for his own benefit. So that doesn't make sense. The Shadow descendants forming a group of people segregated from the rest of society doesn't make sense. Or at least there's a detail in there that I'm not understanding. It just, it's
I think
awful. Feels like they didn't think it through.
I mean, it's not Hunter x Hunter, like we have said. It's not. Not written by our god.
Thought came to me that maybe it was some sort of like executive saying that we need to use this character, we need to use Netero because right now he's in the anime or something, and we need to use him and then the kids and
it could be.
And then they made the writers come up with something in like a span of, I don't know, a month or two, like.
It could also be that, like some executive was like, okay, we need to get this to like the broadest audience.
And you have 2 weeks.
Make it as generic as possible, as digestible.
Yeah, I can imagine like a meeting where like this executive is sitting there, like his eyes squinted and somebody's explaining Nen to him, and is like, "This shit is too complicated. You need to dull it down, boy. You need to make it simple to understand."
This is really my brain.
It probably went down like something like that. I would imagine.
If they think it's that complicated, expense net ability. Let's go.
No.
Who wants to?
Please no. Torture method. Number 37, banned in the United States. Having somebody be able to explain Sarah Nitch's ability back to the person. So being able to comprehend that ability.
It looks like
I'm nowhere near.
I'm on a list.
Nowhere near comprehending that ability myself. Not yet, at least.
Yeah, that one took me like half an hour to kind of get a grasp of, and then I just forgot how it worked like straight after.
Right. So
anyway,
I could get into it, but it doesn't.
Yeah, we're not going to do that now. I was going to say we could
I think
we
so
could
too.
begin to start wrapping up. I did have like a closing thought and maybe like a question to the audience. What kind of Hunter x Hunter movie would you like to see? And I want to pose this question to you guys as well. I can give like a generic answer right away. The type of movie I would want to see is a movie that doesn't involve like any of like the main cast. Like just come up with completely unique characters, put them in like a unique part of the Hunter setting, maybe something that's explored a little bit, but explore it a little more. And work with a lot of originality. No BS like extra power systems like on. Go with Nen. Just a lot of original stuff. See what you can come up with. See what you can differentiate from the original series. See what new things you can come up with, and have it feel like Hunter x Hunter, just in different contexts. I don't know if context is the right word. But yeah, just like unique settings, unique characters. That's what I would want to see.
Yeah, I think that's it. I like that. That sums up my points as well. I think so. No need to add anything.
I think the reason why I want that is because what I like from Hunter is the Nen system, the unique areas in Hunter, like with the Succession War arc, all these unique new characters being introduced. That's all really stimulating and really exciting. And I think a lot of the Hunter fans would agree. Most of them would. There's a lot of like people who love the main cast and are here for the main cast. That's more of like the Stan kind of fan, I think. Whereas I think I just like the setting and the creativity of it a bit more. But yeah,
the world building.
I like both aspects personally.
But I guess that's like a good spot to wrap up. Guys, comment your thoughts on the last mission. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? What are your thoughts? And what kind of movie would you want to see? What kind of Hunter movie would you want to see? I think that's good. We should wrap.
Thanks for listening, guys.